On the 15th of October, something within you begins to awaken. Not because the world outside has changed, but because you finally stop running from what's inside. The pain you've carried for so long, the one you've buried under distractions, silence, or constant effort to appear fine, starts to surface. It doesn't rise to destroy you, it rises so you can see it, feel it, and release it. Healing is not found in ignoring your wounds. It begins the moment you face them. 15th of October reminds you that the pain you hide is the pain that controls you. The moment you turn toward it, something powerful shifts. Awareness cuts through illusion. You stop pretending that time alone can heal what you refuse to face. You begin to understand that healing is not about forgetting. It's about understanding what happened, what it did to you, and why you no longer need to carry it forward. You can't escape a wound by running faster. You heal it by standing still and seeing it clearly. This day carries a quiet message that the storm inside you is not your enemy. It's a signal. It's your inner self calling for attention, calling for truth. When you become still enough to listen, you realize that what hurts is not the pain itself, but your resistance to it. The moment you stop fighting it, something softens. The energy that once went into hiding your emotions begins to transform into awareness. Awareness turns pain into understanding. Understanding turns wounds into wisdom. You've spent years thinking that strength means pretending you're fine. But 15th October shows you that real strength means being honest with yourself. To admit that you are hurt, lost, or tired is not weakness, it's clarity. It's the first step toward self-mastery. Because once you acknowledge your pain, it loses control over you. Once you name the wound, it starts to dissolve. This is not about dwelling in sadness. It's about reclaiming your power. When you face your hurt directly, you begin to see its roots. You see how it shaped your reactions, your choices, your fears. You start noticing how many of your habits were born out of avoidance. You realize that many times you didn't choose your behavior, your pain did, but this realization is liberation. The moment you see it, you can change it. You no longer live as a reaction, you begin to live as creation. 15th October becomes the turning point. You begin to shift from why did this happen to me to what can I do with this now? That question changes everything because awareness always gives you a choice, the choice to grow beyond the wound. Pain loses its power when you stop giving it your silence. Every emotion you refuse to feel stays trapped inside your body, shaping your energy. When you finally allow yourself to feel it, you free yourself from it, you become lighter, clearer, more connected to your true self. This is the beginning of healing, awareness without judgment. You observe your emotions, your thoughts, your inner voice, and you allow them to exist. You don't try to fix them instantly. You just let them speak. You listen. Because what you feel is not your enemy. It's information. It's guidance. It's the part of you that's been waiting to be understood. When you truly see yourself, not through the lens of what happened, but through the lens of who you are becoming, you start to heal in silence. On this day, you stop blaming others, you stop waiting for closure, and you stop expecting the world to understand your pain. You understand yourself. That's enough. Healing isn't about changing the past. It's about transforming your relationship with it. The moment you see that every wound was trying to show you something, patience, boundaries, forgiveness, strength, you realize that the pain was never pointless. It was a lesson written in the language of your own soul. 15th October teaches that awareness is the ultimate medicine. When you become aware of your patterns, you stop repeating them. When you become aware of your triggers, you stop reacting blindly. Awareness is like light entering a dark room. It doesn't need to fight the darkness. It simply reveals what's there. Once you see clearly and you are not the mind to what to keep and what to release, the process is not always comfortable, but it is always freeing. Healing is not loud. It's not dramatic. It's quiet moments of realization. It's the way you breathe differently when you stop resisting yourself. It's the way your body relaxes when you stop pretending. It's the way your heart softens when you finally forgive yourself for not knowing better. This is how growth begins, one honest moment at a time. On the 15th October, you step into that honesty. You stop hiding behind perfection. You allow yourself to be human, imperfect, emotional, evolving. You understand that being aware doesn't mean being emotionless. It means seeing your emotions without letting them control you. It means standing firm while the storm passes through, knowing it's cleansing you, not destroying you. You don't heal by escaping pain. You heal by giving it a place to exist without dominating you. You look at your wounds and whisper, "You don't define me anymore." That's when the transformation begins. That's when the part of you that still hurts starts to dissolve into peace. Because the truth is, awareness is love in its purest form. When you give your pain awareness, you give it love. And love heals everything. This is the power of 15th October. The day awareness meets courage and courage becomes healing. 15th October reminds you that the present moment is all you truly have, not the past that keeps replaying in your mind, not the future you keep waiting for, but this very breath, this heartbeat, this now. It's the space where life is actually happening. Every time you drift into regret or worry, you step away from yourself. You step away from peace. The mind loves to wander, to build stories, to replay old scenes. But the truth is, all healing, all transformation, all awakening can only begin right here in this moment. The reason pain stays for years is not because time is cruel, but because you keep living in moments that no longer exist. You keep feeding memories that have already ended. 15th of October comes as a reminder to stop chasing what's gone and to stop fearing what hasn't arrived. You can't touch the past anymore, and you can't hold the future yet, but you can shape both by how you live now. The present moment is not just time passing, it's your power in motion. When you are here fully, life begins to respond differently. The mind will tell you that happiness is somewhere ahead, that peace will come after success, or after someone changes, or after you finally fix everything. But 15th October whispers something simpler. Peace is not a destination, it's a decision. It happens when you stop fighting what is and start being with it. Right now, in the silence of the present, you begin to sense the truth that was always here. Nothing is missing. You were just too distracted to see it. When you focus on this moment, your breath becomes your teacher. It pulls you back from your thoughts. It reminds you that you are alive now, not then, not someday, now. And in that awareness, the noise in your mind begins to fade. You start hearing what life has been trying to tell you all along. The present is gentle but powerful. It doesn't force healing, it allows it. It doesn't chase clarity, it reveals it. 15th of October teaches you that most of your suffering doesn't come from what's happening. It comes from your resistance to it. The present moment is never unbearable. It's your story about it that hurts. You label it as failure, as loss, as unfair. But the moment itself, it's just experience. When you drop the labels, you begin to see how light life actually is. Awareness doesn't erase pain, it transforms how you hold it. You begin to respond instead of react. You begin to move with life, not against it. The power of the present is not just emotional, it's creative. Every new version of you is born from the now. When you anchor yourself in the present, you gain access to choice, the choice to act differently, to think differently, to be different. That's how real change begins. Not by waiting for another day, not by repeating what you've done before, but by deciding in this instant to rise above your patterns. 15th October becomes a mirror that reflects how often you've lived everywhere except here. You've replayed the same scenes in your head so many times that they've become your prison. You've imagined futures that fill you with fear, but none of those exist. Only this breath does. The present moment is the doorway out of illusion. step through it, and you'll realize that freedom was never far away. It was always right here, waiting for you to arrive. When you truly live in the now, your energy changes. You stop being a victim of time. You stop waiting for healing to happen and become the healing yourself. You notice small details again: the air, the light, the pulse of life in everything. Gratitude grows naturally when you're present because the moment gives you everything you need to see that you already have enough. Healing through the present is not about forgetting your past, it's about no longer being trapped by it. It's not about ignoring the future, it's about trusting that it will unfold from the peace you build today. The present is the root, and everything else grows from it. When the root is calm, the whole tree stands firm. When your mind rests in awareness, life aligns itself with balance. 15th October is not a random date, it's a symbol of awakening. It's the day you stop rushing and start realizing. You understand that life isn't waiting to begin after something happens, it's happening now. You begin to see how much beauty you've missed by being too busy with the noise in your head. You start slowing down not to escape the world, but to finally feel it. There's a quiet strength in presence. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. It simply exists steady, grounded, untouchable. When you live in the present, you stop being pulled between what was and what might be. You stop being a prisoner of time. You become timeless. You begin to sense that your true self is not the one that's thinking, planning, regretting. It's the one that's watching, aware, silent. That awareness is where healing happens. Everything you need for peace already exists inside this moment. The reason 15th of October carries power is because it's the day you choose to return to yourself. You let go of the mental noise, the endless search, the need to control. You just breathe, observe, and allow. And in that allowing, life begins to heal you. Not because you force it to, but because you finally stop interfering. You start realizing that the present moment never fails you. It's you who keeps leaving it. Every time you return, you become stronger, wiser, clearer. The mind quiets, the heart opens, the soul breathes again. That is the real miracle of 15th October. Not an event, not an external change, but the silent revolution inside you. When you finally understand that this moment, right now, is enough, 15th October arrives with the quiet truth that letting go is not losing. It is returning to yourself. It is the release of everything that no longer belongs to your path. The memories that hurt, the people who drained your spirit, the expectations that kept you trapped. You have carried them for too long, believing they define who you are. But 15th October reminds you that you are not the story that broke you. You are the strength that survived it. Letting go does not make you weaker. It is how you reclaim your power. Many people believe that holding on means being strong, but real strength is the courage to let things end. There comes a time when holding on becomes heavier than the pain itself. You wake up one morning and realize that no amount of effort can fix what was never meant to stay. That is the awakening of 15th October, when you finally understand that the weight you've been carrying was never yours to keep. You can love something deeply and still release it. You can care and still choose peace. Letting go is not about forgetting, it's about freeing your energy. Every time you hold on to anger, resentment, or attachment, you keep yourself tied to the past. You keep the wound open. 15th of October teaches that the moment you let go, the healing begins. It's like unclenching your fist after years of tension, painful for a second, but then the blood flows again, life moves again, breath returns again. You start to feel alive in ways you had forgotten. This day brings a deep reminder: you can't receive new blessings with closed hands. When you hold too tightly to what's gone, you block what's trying to reach you. Life keeps moving forward, but you keep looking back. Letting go is not the end, it's the beginning of something lighter, clearer, truer. You begin to understand that you don't lose people or moments meant for you. What's real never leaves. It transforms, it evolves, it returns in new ways. But what doesn't belong will fall away, and that is protection, not punishment. 15th of October is a cleansing. It's the moment the universe invites you to stop fighting for control, to stop chasing what's fading. You realize that peace comes not from holding everything together, but from trusting that things fall apart for a reason. The cracks in your story are where the light enters. The endings you fear are often the openings your soul has been waiting for. When you let go, something magical happens. Space appears, silence appears, clarity appears. You begin to see how much of your suffering was created by attachment. You wanted life to match your idea of how it should be. You wanted people to act according to your expectations. You wanted the world to obey your desires. But 15th of October tells you the truth: control is an illusion. The only thing you can control is your inner state, your breath, your presence, your response. And once you master that, life begins to align effortlessly. Letting go does not mean indifference. It means choosing peace over chaos, wisdom over reaction, growth over comfort. It means you trust the flow of life more than the noise of your fears. When you release what's gone, you don't shrink, you expand. You make room for something new, something deeper. You make room for yourself. 15th of October becomes a sacred pause where you finally stop holding the rope that's been burning your hands. And the moment you release it, you feel the burn, but then you feel the freedom. The pain fades, and what remains is strength, not the kind that fights, but the kind that endures with grace. You realize that letting go is not something you do once, it's a lifelong practice. You release again and again, each time becoming lighter, more open, more alive. Sometimes you feel fear as you let go. Fear of the unknown, fear of emptiness, fear of being without what once defined you. But that emptiness is not something to fear, it's space for transformation. On the 15th of October, that space becomes your rebirth. You begin to understand that every time something leaves your life, it's making room for something greater to arrive. Nature follows this truth. The trees let go of their leaves not because they are dying, but because they are preparing to bloom again. So must you. The act of letting go is an act of faith. It's trusting that what's meant for you cannot pass you by. It's believing that even in silence, something sacred is working for your good. You stop clinging and you start flowing. You stop begging life to stay the same and you start meeting it as it is. That's when real growth begins. 15th October teaches that the peace you are searching for won't come from fixing everything around you. It will come from releasing everything that disturbs your inner balance. You learn to walk away not out of anger, but out of wisdom. You stop chasing closure and start creating it within yourself. You stop needing others to understand and start understanding yourself. Letting go is a declaration that your spirit deserves peace more than it deserves answers. It's the moment you choose to stop reopening old wounds just to feel something familiar. You stop replaying what could have been and begin honoring what is. You learn that surrender is not defeat, it's alignment. It's the realization that sometimes the only way to win is to stop fighting. As 15th of October unfolds, you stand still in the quiet truth that letting go is how you rise. You rise above attachments, above expectations, above fear. You rise into acceptance, into trust, into peace. You stop forcing life and allow it to unfold through you. The heaviness that once lived in your chest begins to lift, not because something outside changed, but because you changed the way you hold it. This is the freedom of 15th of October, when the past loses its grip, when resistance softens into grace, when you finally understand that release is the purest form of strength. 15th October arrives not to comfort you, but to awaken you. It comes to remind you that pain was never your enemy. It was your greatest teacher. Every wound, every disappointment, every heartbreak you have faced was carrying a message meant only for you. Life never hurts without reason. The problem is not the pain, it's how long you refuse to listen to what it's trying to teach. On the 15th of October, the lesson becomes clear. The pain you once cursed was shaping you into who you were meant to become. There are moments when everything seems to fall apart, when life pushes you to your limits, when you feel abandoned by the world. But in truth, those are not the moments of destruction, they are moments of transformation. Pain has a strange way of stripping away what is false. It removes what no longer serves your growth. It clears the space for something real to take root. A 15th October is the moment you stop asking why it happened and start seeing what it revealed. You begin to understand that the storm didn't break you. It cleared your path. When pain enters your life, it is not punishment. It is a mirror. It reflects what is unhealed inside you, what still needs attention, what you've been ignoring. The hurt you feel is not from the situation alone. It's from your attachment to how you thought things should be. On the 15th of October, you start to see that pain is not here to destroy you. It's here to wake you up. Every difficulty carries a lesson, and until you learn it, it will repeat. But once you learn, it disappears like a teacher who leaves once the student understands. The truth is, pain is part of growth. You cannot evolve without discomfort. The seed must break to grow. The butterfly must struggle to emerge. The night must fall before the sunrise appears. It's the same for your spirit. The pain you experience is not a sign that you are weak. It's proof that you are expanding beyond your old limits. 15th October becomes a reminder that what hurts now is what is helping you evolve. The lessons you resist today will become the wisdom you live by tomorrow. When you begin to see pain differently, something changes inside you. You stop reacting to it with fear and start observing it with awareness. You begin to ask yourself, not why me, but what can I learn from this? Every challenge becomes a classroom. Every setback becomes training for strength. Every tear becomes a teacher of compassion. You realize that pain was never against you. It was for you, pushing you toward your higher self. 15th October is a turning point, the moment you stop running from pain and start walking with it. You start to understand that healing does not mean never feeling pain again. It means not letting pain control your life. It means being able to face suffering without collapsing under it. It means you can stand in the storm and remain centered. The power of 15th October is not that pain disappears, but that you no longer fear it. You learn to let pain pass through you instead of living inside it. The moment you stop fighting your pain, it starts to transform. You begin to see that every broken piece carries wisdom. Pain teaches patience. It teaches humility. It teaches empathy. It teaches strength that no comfort ever could. Every scar you carry is proof that you have lived, learned, and survived. Those scars are not signs of weakness. They are symbols of courage. They remind you that you faced darkness and came out stronger. 15th of October brings this truth to light. The parts of you that hurt are the parts that are growing. Pain purifies you. It burns away illusion. It destroys your pride, your false beliefs, your attachments. It makes you question everything. And in that questioning, you find truth. You start to see what truly matters and what was just noise. You learn to appreciate peace because you have known chaos. You learn to value love because you have felt loss. You learn to stay grounded because you have been shaken. That is how pain becomes your teacher, not by being kind, but by being honest. 15th of October shows you that the lessons written in pain are the ones that stay forever. The easy days make you comfortable, but the hard days make you wise. You begin to thank the pain that once broke you because you can now see the strength it left behind. You realize that growth is not supposed to be painless. Transformation always demands something: effort, surrender, loss. But what you receive in return is far greater than what you lose. This day carries a deep wisdom. The purpose of pain is to bring you back to yourself, to remind you of your strength, to strip away everything false so that only truth remains. When you embrace pain as a guide instead of an enemy, you stop living in fear. You begin to meet life as it is, fully, openly, with awareness. You learn to trust that even the hardest chapters are part of your evolution. Pain sharpens you. It deepens you. It teaches you to breathe through chaos, to stay calm in uncertainty, to trust the process when nothing makes sense. Every experience that hurt you was preparing you for something larger, not to punish you, but to shape you. The moment you understand this, pain loses its power. It becomes just another form of guidance. 15th October is the day you stop running from your wounds and start learning from them. You look back at every moment that once broke you and see how it molded your heart, strengthened your spirit, and clarified your purpose. You realize that you didn't just survive, you grew. The pain didn't end you, it refined you. And that is the quiet miracle of 15th October. When you finally see that pain was never your curse, it was your compass. 15th of October is not a day of sudden miracles. It is not about one moment of awakening that fixes everything. It is about the quiet, steady rhythm of returning to yourself every single day. True healing doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. It's the small, repeated acts of awareness that rebuild you. It's the discipline of choosing peace even when chaos knocks at your door. On the 15th October, you begin to understand that transformation is not found in grand gestures. It's hidden in the simple, constant practice of being present. You have been taught to chase quick results, instant relief, sudden clarity. But the truth is, real growth moves slowly. It breathes in silence. It unfolds quietly while you stay patient and persistent. The mind wants progress to feel dramatic, but the soul knows that lasting change feels gentle. 15th October teaches that every moment of mindfulness, every breath of awareness, every act of gratitude is a seed planted inside you. It may seem small today, but in time it grows into peace that nothing can shake. Healing through consistency is an art. It's the decision to return to your center again and again, no matter how many times you fall. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep coming back. When your mind drifts into fear, bring it back. When your heart closes in pain, open it again. When you lose your balance, breathe and start over. That is the power of 15th October. It reminds you that beginning again is also progress. Every return to awareness builds strength. Every return to calm rewires your mind. Consistency is what transforms fleeting moments into lasting peace. You can meditate once and feel calm for an hour, or you can practice every day and become calm for a lifetime. You can forgive once and feel lighter, or you can choose forgiveness daily and live without burden. On the 15th of October, you start to see that growth isn't about what you do once. It's about what you repeat until it becomes who you are. The truth is, every day tests your alignment. Some days you feel peaceful, other days you fall back into old patterns. But 15th of October reminds you not to see this as failure. It's part of the process. You are learning how to return faster, how to recover stronger, how to stay aware longer. This is how evolution works, slowly, patiently, quietly. You are not the same person you were yesterday, even if you can't see it yet. Healing through mindfulness means learning to watch yourself, your thoughts, emotions, reactions without judgment. You start noticing the patterns that create your suffering. You start recognizing the stories you tell yourself. You begin to see that awareness is not control, it's clarity. When you are aware, you stop reacting blindly. You stop being pulled by every wave of emotion. You stand like a mountain, steady, calm, grounded. 15th October carries a message that patience is not waiting, it is active awareness. It's staying committed to your inner work even when results are invisible. It's choosing to show up for your growth even when no one sees it. The small acts, breathing consciously, speaking kindly, walking mindfully, may look ordinary, but they are building a new life from within. Every time you choose awareness over distraction, you are rewriting your story. Consistency creates transformation because repetition creates truth. Whatever you practice becomes your reality. If you practice anger, you become anger. If you practice peace, you become peace. On the 15th of October, you decide what you want to embody. You realize that life doesn't give you what you wish for. It gives you what you practice. So you begin to practice presence, gratitude, compassion, forgiveness. Slowly, they stop being practices. They become your nature. There will be days when you feel nothing is changing, days when your old wounds resurface, your old fears return, your mind feels heavy again. But that's when you must remember, consistency is stronger than emotion. The waves of pain are temporary, the practice of peace is permanent. On the 15th of October, you learn to stay the course even when it feels pointless. You learn to trust the unseen progress because transformation doesn't happen in noise, it happens in silence when you keep walking, even in the dark. Every sunrise is an invitation to begin again. 15th of October becomes the symbol of this eternal renewal. It's a reminder that healing doesn't happen in one moment of realization, but in the 1,000 quiet choices you make afterward. The choice to forgive again, to breathe again, to trust again, to try again. The repetition of these choices shapes who you become. The journey of self-growth is not a straight line. It's a spiral. You return to the same lessons again, but each time with more understanding, more strength, more grace. 15th October is that circle of return, a reminder that progress is not about how fast you move, but how deeply you grow each time you come back to yourself. You realize that mastery is not about never falling, it's about learning how to rise with awareness every single time. In this process, your relationship with life changes. You stop chasing peace as a reward and start living peace as a habit. You stop looking for healing as a destination and start embodying healing as a daily rhythm. The power of 15th October is not in what happens outside you, but in what awakens within you. The discipline to remain centered, the faith to stay patient, the wisdom to repeat what works until it becomes effortless. Every conscious breath is a victory. Every moment of silence is progress. Every act of awareness is transformation. Healing through consistency doesn't shout, it whispers. But over time, those whispers become your strength. They guide you through pain, through doubt, through every storm. 15th of October stands as a quiet promise that if you keep showing up, life will meet you halfway. You don't have to rush. You don't have to force. Just keep returning to awareness, to gratitude, to presence. Because the truth is simply what you practice daily becomes your destiny. And on the 15th of October, that practice begins to turn your pain into peace, your struggle into stillness, your chaos into clarity.